I'm Veronica Hemmingway, Southern Lowcountry Director at Coastal Community Foundation. In my role, I'm responsible for the Foundation's competitive programs and community leadership work in Beaufort, Colleton, Hampton, and Jasper counties. The Beaufort Fund of Coastal Community Foundation is an annual grant-making program established in 1998 by an anonymous donor who wanted to invest in the long-term well-being of the Beaufort region. As a part of that grant-making program, we've granted over $10 million in the 4 counties in the Southern Lowcountry. Each year, we average about $800,000 in annual grants that support nonprofits doing work in everything from after-school programs, human services, the arts, and the environment.
Hi, I'm Lily Coleman, Executive Director of Second Helpings. Second Helpings is a food rescue agency that serves 3 counties, Beaufort, Hampton, and Jasper County. We are the agency that rescues food in 3 counties, Jasper, Hampton, and Beaufort counties. We rescue about 3 million pounds of food annually, and we feed 19,000 people weekly with our food. We're the agency that picks up the food at the grocery stores and takes the food to 55 different agencies. We have 8 refrigerator trucks, and those trucks are on the road 7 days a week. One of the first things that the Beaufort Fund did was about 5 years ago help us fund a new program called Healthy Initiative. We realized that our agencies were not getting enough produce and protein. So we asked for funding and they granted it to us, and we were able to work with a farmer on St. Helena Island who's actually growing produce for us. Beaufort Fund is one of the few grants that allows us to ask for funding for our food rescue operations. And that's very important to us because that's what we do.
Enhancements were made to the Beaufort Fund competitive grant-making program to make it more equitable so that nonprofits of different sizes, different places in their life cycle, and the scope of their work could compete for funding. Applications can now be accepted from nonprofits that are small, larger, and first-time applicants.
Hello, I'm Dr. Ponchitta Young, Assistant Director here at Agape Family Life Center in Hardeeville, South Carolina. Being a part of the Coastal Community Foundation grant, the Beaufort Fund, and we're grateful for how in the beginning things were a little different in the way of processing to attain funds to assist so many families. But we're grateful since the start of 2018 how those changes have come about. The funding process has been simplified. Not only that, it's been very strategically organized so that organizations who may be on a smaller scale, larger scale, or whatever the specifications are for that particular organization, we were able to launch into that, and we're grateful for that change. We find the process very easy to go through in terms of filling out the application, providing information that is needed through Coastal Community Foundation. And not only that, the staff, Veronica Hemmingway, just wonderful person. We've been able to reach out to her if we've had questions throughout this process. She's answered questions for us. She's given suggestions. And so we've been grateful for that. Again, a lot of this could not have been to the level that it is if it had not been for our partnership with Coastal Community Foundation.
My name's Steve Giammona. I'm a physical therapist and executive director of the Adaptive Golf Experience here in Beaufort, South Carolina. Adaptive golf is essential for people in their rehabilitation. It allows folks to both challenge their balance and their endurance, as well as both physical and psychological needs, getting together with others in the community who are dealing with similar limitations. This allows people to get together, share their thoughts, serve as a social support group, and just look forward to competing with folks with similar challenges. The Beaufort Fund has been essential since we started the Adaptive Golf Experience in 2014. The Foundation's funds allowed us to establish training materials, set up communications, and even the necessary equipment for the monthly clinics. With the assistance that the Beaufort Fund provided, we were able to pull our volunteers together and provide the necessary training to certify them as adaptive golf coaches, so that not only did they feel more comfortable in providing the assistance to our participants, but our participants could tell that they were not only having therapists and physicians and nurses helping them, but people who loved the game and were well trained in what they were doing.
We recognize that Coastal Community Foundation and nonprofits in the Southern Lowcountry have the relationships and the community wisdom to tackle the biggest issues in their region. The Catalyst Grant Program is meant to support them in those efforts. We recognize that nonprofits have small budgets and tight staffs, but not having the funds to pursue those big ideas shouldn't be a barrier. Hopeful Horizons received Coastal Community Foundation's first Catalyst Grant to expand their services into Colleton County, which has South Carolina's highest rates of child abuse and neglect.
I'm Kristen Dubrowski. I'm the CEO with Hopeful Horizons, and we are the Children's Advocacy, Domestic Violence, and Rape Crisis Center serving Beaufort, Colleton, Hampton, Jasper, and Allendale counties in South Carolina. Hopeful Horizons received the Catalyst Grant from Coastal Community Foundation in 2020, and it provides 5 years of support for $750,000. And this funding is going to help us establish a satellite office in Colleton County, in Walterboro to be specific. And the reason we targeted Colleton County and Walterboro for the expansion and the satellite office is because it tends to have the highest rates of founded child abuse and neglect in the state, as well as really high rates of domestic and sexual violence victimization. So the Catalyst Grant isn't only going to help make our services, Hopeful Horizons services, more accessible in Colleton County and for victims and survivors in Hampton and Allendale counties as well. But by allowing us to put roots down in the community, we can really expand our intervention and prevention efforts and really work toward cultural change and creating a community without abuse.
The expansion of the Beaufort Fund over the last year has really given us the opportunity to do really 3 things that I'm very excited about. Number one, it's given us the ability to continue to support nonprofits in our traditional grant making, providing necessary resources for those who are serving children, those who are doing after-school programs, those who are doing direct relief. It gives us the opportunity to expand into a Catalyst Fund, which gives us the opportunity now to make 5- and 6-figure multi-year gifts, and I think that's incredibly important. What also encourages me about the Beaufort Fund is our community leadership work that we're doing in the region. Not only are we looking at things like advocacy policy to expand and enhance our grant making, but we're also looking at ways to convene groups of people around, for example, Beaufort Housing, the Beaufort Housing Initiative, and other areas that really provide a complement to the great grant making that the fund has done over the last 20 years. So I'm very excited about the expanded work that we'll be doing in the region.